isn't that trying to be an artistic way of saying that he's just looking through people's underwear drawers?
That very
Full
well
of
could be.
DNA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you may have nailed it on this one, Sherlock.
It's showtime, folks.
And welcome to Into the Music. I'm John, he's Andy. Tunes we listen to, we do. Andy,
it's true.
What have you got? What do you got for me?
Oh, I've got a band that I'm 100% certain you've never heard of them before, but if you tell me you have, mind blown. So this is going to garner a whole lot of maybe 4 total viewers when it's all said and done, but I really like this song, and it's really different in my estimation anyway. I'll let you be the judge of that. But the name of the artist, the group, is KK and his Weathered Underground.
So I've got the previous KK and his Seasoned Overground. So yeah, the Weathered Underground's new to me.
Good. I'm glad I can still keep it fresh. This song is called Hey Momma. So skedaddle on and give it a listen and let me know what you think of it when you come back.
Okay, will do.
Excellent.
Hey mama, I'm such a selfish bastard. I stare through dirty window panes and fumble DNA. They stumble up right now. Too many foliage where all the crazies be. The crazy just like me, except I'm sheltered from the
So, yeah, this has got a lovely feel to it. It's sort of old-timey. There's a kind of almost ragtime piano. It's also got a bit of a folksy feel to it as well. It looks like for the situation they're playing live, which is impressive as well. Yeah, it sounds really good.
From the caffeine, just petals, fragrance, and nicotine, and I'll be asleep by 8:30 in the morning. Wake me gently. Bird of paradise, gender is my vice, and I'm all dressed up with no one to go, man. Go, get out, man. Freak out, man.
Change up.
came to me in dreams, somewhere out in the space out back of my mind. Can you blame me when all the things I see came to me in the space out back of my mind?
So there's like 2-3 breakdowns, and then we're into this, which is back to sort of prohibition style flapper music. I love that muted trumpet. Sounds cheeky and sarcastic, which I absolutely adore. Yeah, this is great. Sorry, I have to say, I'm a little bit distracted with his nose. He keeps wiping it all over the microphone. I don't know if he's got an itch or something, but it looks bizarre. Anyway. There's always one. .7 for the dismount. Back to Andy. Okie dokie, picking a pokey. So.
Oh, that old adage.
Yeah. So I listened to it.
Yeah, you did. I would imagine.
Mm.
And
yeah, this was charming, playful, so old-timey sound, but there was lots of elements or sections or movements to this song.
Yeah, there was definitely some genre cross germination in this track.
And I would say I really liked it. I mean, overall, it's a bit as a complete song, it's a bit ragged, but that's part of its charm, probably. I can see it pissing off a lot of people quite easily, but I was not one of those. So yeah, it's not entirely cohesive, but then, that's not really ever been an issue for me.
Right, me neither.
I listen to. So yeah, playful, old-timey sound. It starts off with a bit folksy as well. And that first bit where he's singing away, and it's very, they start joining in bit by bit. I really like the sort of ragtime piano going in there as well. I do have a few questions, but I'll get to that. Then so he's building and building, and it's really nice, and then it goes to a breakdown. And up steps Mr. Funky Bass.
Yes.
And then comes the organ, which is just lovely. And then there's a great electric guitar part as well. And that, if I'm being really honest and shallow, is my favourite bit of the whole song. Not to say the other bits weren't, but, that was just really nice, and it's much easier, to digest compared to the other bits.
Sure.
Not that it was out, completely off the wall or anything. It was just, and I really love some of those sort of, that sort of era of music as well. So, not got a problem with that. But the tempo rises then, and there's a much fuller sound, and everyone's joining in. He even pulls back from the microphone to give the full vocals treatment, and then the whole sort of, I'll call it the chorus of vocals are joining in as well. Didn't get a lick of the lyrics that I can't even remember. He starts off singing about he's a selfish bastard or something. And that's about it. That's all I can remember. So, but he's singing along. It's great. It reminded me, particularly in those places, of Cloud Cult. I gave you that one song with more life. That sort of dynamics. It's not the same, but it's the same attitude and approach. Which was really interesting. Then they had a second breakdown. Then they had a third breakdown, and then they went back into the prohibition sound, I call it,
Yeah.
The flapper music.
The early 20th century.
Wonderful, cheeky, muted trumpet.
Oh, my God. That was my favorite. Even with the funk bass and the really nice, like, semi-hollow guitar stuff, and to the choice of, like, rather than using the rubber sort of stopper that you often see, they went with the brass to really capture that brassy sound of the trumpet. Oh, chef kiss.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded both, sarcastic and, cheeky as well. And it's the reason why they do the wah, wah, wah with that, because it is that sort of sound. But it's great, and it had a real impetus once again to a song that wasn't particularly lacking impetus, but it really, really did. And then it sort of ended with this. As it ended, the strings are really carrying it at that point, and they were beautiful, and it was a really, really nice ending with the strings as well. Despite the autofocus problems of the camera, I did really like it. There was a few things though that got my attention that probably shouldn't have done. So, as he's singing the main man with his, I want to say Russian hat, but it probably isn't. But you know what I mean.
It's like one of those like Kazakhstan or like some, precisely. Yeah. I don't know the name of the hat, but I know what you're talking about, and sort of like the kind of hat. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of somewhere in the Urals, probably. Behind him, there's a very pretty dark-haired girl who didn't seem to do much. She mimed a piano for a bit, and I think she sung a couple of lines, but she didn't be doing a lot. And is the guy with the hat, and I know there's more than one guy with a hat, but the guy with a hat and the glasses, is he famous or something? Because they were focusing on him a lot during the song.
I just think that was weird. Like, he's one of the main. There's a lot of people on that stage, a lot.
Yeah.
There are only, like, the band itself are comprised of 3 main members, and then just a laundry list of additional musicians that tour with them and play with them.
So that's why.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he's the chandelier swinger. Yeah.
Yes.
But there was one other thing that was slightly distracting, and that was the lead singer's weird nose action with the microphone. He kept resting his nose on the microphone, even sort of wiping the microphone with his nose. I don't know what he was doing, but it was almost like, all over the place, and and it just wasn't a good look. And once I noticed it, I couldn't stop noticing it, but it didn't, alter my opinion of the song, it was really enjoyable. And I had a great time listening to it.
It reminds me of the issue you took with the guy from Mute Math's jacket. Like, completely
don't get me started on that.
It's not apropos to the sound at all, but no, I get it. Yeah, he was definitely very intimately involved with that microphone for sure.
Yeah, I've seen people do that before, but I've never seen someone try to turn their nose inside out on a microphone. Yeah, that's what he was doing. Yeah,
it's like he had an itch the entire length of the song.
I wonder why.
Exactly. We've all been there. I couldn't help. I thought you were going to say the distraction was. I get the nose thing, so that checks out. But the girl in the background who was doing like a lot of. She was like always making these like expressions. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, chill out. You're barely doing anything. What are you doing back there?
Fuck off.
But she's like trying to steal like camera time away. It's like, look. Come on now. You're back there for a reason. But that made me laugh, and I thought, oh God, when you mentioned something that caught your eye, I thought you were going to talk about my pet peeve with it, but that's neither here nor there. Just a couple annoying things in an otherwise great song and video.
I saw her a couple of times, but I quickly zoned her out because she was doing nothing.
You did what I could not.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm really, really glad you like the song. Super eclectic, different. You're not going to hear a lot of this kind of stuff. And it's like when I told you that I really love when songs and artists capture multiple genre sounds under one umbrella, and that's the track. I love that. It's so weird and different. And if you could pull it off, like more power to you, and like extra kudos for having done that. This is sort of one of those that's like a perfect example of like, it all works for me. It all works for you. It might not work for some. Like you're right. It might seem a little disjointed with a 1, 2, 3 way of going into the next part of the song rather than it just musically flowing seamlessly into it. But yet it still worked for me.
Oh, can I just say one thing?
Yeah, of course you can.
From the video, obviously it looked like they were playing it live, which is again really impressive. And I meant
with all those moving parts and all those different sounds and time signatures really and all that shit. Like, yeah, it's really very interesting and cool to see it live. So a little bit about the band. KK and his Weathered Underground. They're considered an indie rock, psychedelic pop, and jazz number, like sort of band. And they were started by Kirk Huffman and Kyle O'Quinn, and they were of another group called Gatsby's American Dream. And they went on hiatus. These two got bored, started KK and his Weathered Underground. That's when they, shortly after starting that, they welcomed your man Phil Peterson, who does the cello and backing vocals in this track, to make like the core 3 think tank of the group, and then they bring in all these other musicians to do stuff with them. They've done 2 albums and are now on hiatus because Kyle O'Quinn, who is the keyboardist, Kirk Huffman is the lead singer, by the way, who did all the great nose work on the microphone. Kyle O'Quinn works the keys, and these guys are now on hiatus because O'Quinn went and joined or formed Portugal the Man. So if you've ever heard of the group Portugal the Man, that's another. So these guys just get bored and start new things, it sounds like, and they never quite put a bow on stuff because they've claimed in like 2012 that they had all the trappings in place for their 3rd album, which folks have been waiting for some time. But I thought this was kind of the best time to throw these guys into the mix for you because they actually were on the tour with the Deer Hunter and Oh Brother when I saw them. So I've seen these guys live as well as an opening act, and really, again, you just saw what it looks like live to see these guys. Kind of a bit of a feast for the eyes, and not only the ears, but the eyes as well. So I was like, oh, this is fun and interesting. And John's, you've got your trouble spots, but you've got a pretty wide, approach to what you'll listen to and what you like and stuff like that. So I thought, man, this is eclectic, but I think it would be up John's alley to give this a try.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know exactly what this song is about. Other than it's definitely introspective in some way, shape, or form, where he's like sort of like dissecting himself a little bit. But hey, mama, I'm such a selfish bastard. I stare through dirty window panes at fumbled DNA, which is weird because that makes me think of like looking through a microscope at like strands of DNA. Like I stare through dirty window panes at fumbled DNA. They stumble upright now. We'll come down to man-made foliage. Where all the crazies be. They're crazy just like me, except I'm sheltered from the cold.
Isn't that trying to be an artistic way of saying that he's just looking through people's underwear drawers?
That very well could be
DNA.
Yeah, you may have nailed it on this one, Sherlock. I think we can.
I know that's what I do.
Yep. Where all the crazies be, they're crazy just like me, except I'm sheltered from the cold. Oh, darling, hold me tighter so your teeth don't have to chatter. We can smile at putrid senile faces, taxing where all our space is. Man, that's love. Love, love, love. Oh baby, get me all fresh bent on stimulants. My stems is stout from the caffeine, drenched puddles, fragrance, and nicotine. And I'll be asleep by 8:30. In the morning, wake me gently, like a bird of paradise. My agenda is my vice. And I'm all dressed up with nowhere to go, man. Get out, man. Freak out, man. So go on, man. Get out, man. Freak out, man. Oh, I get a little jumpy. This is sort of when it changed to that almost like reggae style beat and funkiness. I get a little jumpy when my phone rings. Automation on the other line. The headset robos waste time on company dime. He gets a little jumpy when the phone rings. All that wasted time. He gets a little jumpy when the phone rings. All that wasted time. Can you blame me when all the things I see, they came to me in dreams, somewhere out in the spaced out back of my mind? Can you blame me when all the things I'd see, they came to me in the spaced out back of my mind? 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, that's love. Love, love, love. So yeah, outside of the panty examiner, I don't know what else you've got for me.
Well, I've got an impression, and I can't back it up, but letting those words sort of wash over me. I just got the impression of somebody institutionalized with a partner in crime. Does that make sense?
With a partner in crime, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be. It very well could
Whether
be.
that partner in crime is someone who is active or imagined, you know, like you're talking to, because he's talking about this love and hey, Momma. It could be a nurse or something that is,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, or an orderly or a attendant that he thinks is on his side, but isn't really. Or
yeah.
it could be
or another one of his
that,
personalities or something that he has a relationship with. Yeah.
But it kind of feels that way to me, and I'd have to go in really properly look at the lyrics and all that. But that's the first impression I got was somebody who's a little bit over the cuckoo's nest.
Yes, and, yes, I would say definitely not all there. And there's definitely that's the one thing I get when I'm saying like introspective, like self-doubt or self-judging or trying to make sense of your own mind. Yeah, and it's just interesting and cool to me. Sometimes I don't need to know exactly what a song is about. It just needs to have resonating parts or a theme. So yeah, really cool, interesting stuff. I thought both musically and lyrically, the performance is fun. So I'm glad that you gave it a shot and that it sounds like you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. I have to say, I mean, I do like jazz type music, and I think probably the peak for me is 1950s Miles Davis sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Charlie Parker stuff and stuff after that is just too much for me. I'm not there yet. It blows my head in not a good way. Maybe in years to come I will appreciate it, but after that it's like 1920s jazz I really like.
Yes.
And this sort of flapper sound prohibition stuff, it's like the pop music of that time. It's the more accessible that everyone would get up and dance to it, and it just screams fun, And
yes, so that, and like another word you used earlier, I think charming. There's something whimsical and charming.
Yeah,
and I don't. Maybe that's what the 20s were, and that's why they were so roaring. But it seems like it's just a fun sound whenever you hear like anything ragtime up to like the prohibitionary type stuff you're talking about, vaudevillian in nature, which is really, I don't know, pleasing. Always been pleasing to my ear as well.
I think that, and also the peak of that probably here. I mean, even after the Wall Street crash, so they were going through probably the worst economic collapse that was known in the history, of mankind. And so you can probably learn a lesson or two from them. They still managed to, enjoy themselves. So yeah, it's weird as things come around again, almost 100 years later. We're going through the same crap again,
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right, well, go ahead and put a bow on it for us, John. I appreciate you giving it a listen, my guy.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this, and I hope all the people out there that watch this enjoyed it as well. Please let us know what you think. Perhaps you do some part-time flapping yourself with a lovely sort of beaded dress. Yeah, I could imagine Wonder Boy in one of those. I have no idea.
Sounds like you have imagined it.
But yeah, please let us know what you think. And if you enjoyed this, do hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting towards a grand total of 5,000. I don't know when this goes out.
Yeah, we might already be there by the time this goes out.
We might have lost 1,000 after this. You know, but,
we'll let this one be
joking. No. So yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already, and join the family. That said, thanks again for watching so much, and we will see every single one of you on the next episode of Into the Music.